So Minecraft is a very well-rounded game. There's a lot of aspects to Minecraft. You can build, you can PvP, you can speedrun, one of my favorites. But in most of those, specifically PvP and speedrunning, you need something. Yeah, you may not think you need it, but once you get good at it, you'll notice a huge difference. And that is hotkeying. So hotkeying is essentially taking one of the keys on your keyboard and binding it to one of your hotbar slots, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Now, many people that start off Minecraft, and pretty much everyone that starts off Minecraft, uses the scroll wheel. Obviously, they scroll back and forth between everything. Now, I guess for some things, such as building, you do not need a hotkey. Like, it is not like a necessity where you need, like you need a hotkey. But for things like Bed Wars, Sky Wars, duels, and speedrunning, specifically UHC duels, definitely UHC duels, you need a hotkey. It just weighs you down so much if you can't. Now, obviously, you don't need to be like me and go to your controls and hotkey literally everything except for 3 slots. These are my hotkeys, by the way. Button 5 is my front mouse button, button 4 is my back mouse button. So you don't need to do that. But mainly, you need at least 2. If you main UHC, then you need 3. If you plan on maining UHC, you need 3. I don't know any UHC leaderboarder, main YouTuber that does not hotkey everything. Or most things. So, first I'm going to go over just, in general, the 2 hotkeys that you need. The 2 hotkeys that you need are going to be your clutch block, which is probably for Bed Wars players, ladders, pearls, water buckets. For speedrunners, probably pearls, water buckets. It's basically something you need to go to fast. If like you accidentally fall or you get hit off, like it's nice to have. And it probably will save you. And that is like the one time you need a hotkey most. Because imagine you're on your 4 slot. You have a pearl right here. And you start falling. Like right here. You're on half health. You need to scroll over to that. But imagine you're doing that and you miss. You're screwed. Scroll wheel, sometimes you can miss. For hotkeying, it's a lot harder to just like miss. And it's a lot faster. So the clutch block, clutch item, that is probably the most important one. And the next one is blocks. Definitely blocks. Blocks technically also count as a clutch item because you can like clutch on the side of a block, like on like a flat surface. But like I would not count it as a clutch item because you need both. You really need both. Now you may think, oh wait, I could just have my clutch slot in 2, and my pearl, my water bucket in 3, and my sword in 1. But like, what if you need tools? People don't think of tools as a clutch item. People don't. But what if you need to?
Hey, that's pretty good.
So essentially, if you need to block in, you need the hotkey tools. And now, most people don't block in. Most people just don't do that. But I do it a lot. I like doing it a lot. And you definitely need tools to be hotkeyed for that. But let me just explain why you may need that even if you don't block in. Because most Bed Wars players, if you've played for long enough, you know that millisecond of getting that bed breaking animation really counts. Like, it really counts. And if you spend, like, 0.3 milliseconds scrolling over, that could lose you a bed. It could literally lose you a bed. And that would be so aggravating, knowing that if you had just hotkeyed, then you would have been able to get it. You would have been able to get that bed. So, you may be thinking, wait a second, but, like, I can't hotkey. I've known scroll wheel for too long. I've been doing this up until like 700 stars in Bed Wars, or just for a while. You're just not comfortable with it. That's a-okay. Alright. Now, in my defense, I technically do have an excuse. Because in my early days of Minecraft, obviously, I didn't like main it too much. I didn't play it as much. I didn't do heavy PvP based games, and I used to scroll them. And when I started to get into them, I immediately hotkeyed. I immediately got into that. That was my thing. I hotkeyed. These hotkeys I have had since like the first month that I ever started like really grinding Bed Wars. These are just the same hotkeys. So I've never really known anything else. But to get used to hotkeys, don't do them all at once. Do not do them all at once. Do one. I would suggest that you do not hotkey anything in these first 3. 4 is literally the hardest one for me to get to. But I don't think you need to hotkey that. But everything here, do not hotkey this. Do not hotkey this with your 1, 2, 3, 4. Hotkey this with your letters. R, F, C, V, Z, X, tab, whatever works for you. Okay, but make sure that it does not inhibit your W. It does not inhibit you moving forward. Now, if you hotkey everything, then you may get to a situation like this, where like, you don't have this. You don't have the first 2, so you can just hotkey over. Now, I would suggest starting with F. F is the best hotkey you can ever have. It is the best one, I would say. It's very fast. It's close to like your fingers, because you just have to move over one. Some of them you have to go diagonal, and some of them you have to move some distance down. You might fat finger another key. F, you cannot fat finger anything besides F. You have to stretch for everything. You have to bend for everything else besides F. So I would suggest F is my ender pearls, or my water buckets. So I suggest that you use F for your hotkey slots, because it's just such a good hotkey. And if you want to keep going after that, then I would suggest R. And now let's get into sprint keys. Sprint keys are sprint keys are something that is another pet peeve of mine. If your sprint key is R, I would suggest that you change it. Let me show you why I would change it. So you don't want to have your sprint key as R for one reason: wall running. Wall running is very good in most scenarios. Like in Sky Wars, you may need to clutch and wall run to get away from the enemy. In Bed Wars, you may need to clutch and wall run, or like do the jump around, like that thing. But the thing is, if your hotkey is R, you can't go this way. You can't go that way, or else you won't be sprinting, or unless you use toggle sprint. But the thing is, if you slam against the wall, you'll have to press it again, and then boom, enemy slaps you in the back. Trust me, it's happened. But then I've, clutched on this side because I'm sprinting. So it's very important to have your sprint key not as your 3 fingers in between your pinky and your thumb. Those 3 fingers need to be completely unimpaired for your sprint key. So everything from cap locks down to control works. Shift works. You can have shift as control. You can have shift as... I've seen people with shift as G. Wouldn't recommend it, but still. My sprint key is caps lock. It's capital. This is because I didn't want to have it as shift, because I was still learning speed bridging, so then I could still speed bridge. But I didn't want to have it as control because I felt like I was just bending down for it. So one thing with caps lock, which is a small sacrifice, if you're typing, it's like a 50-50 chance that it's a capital letter. So I could be like sprinting and then type something and realize that it's in all caps. But I would suggest caps lock or shift, because shift is very good. Control is honestly just a really solid one. I feel like a lot more people will be comfortable with control, because it's just that you just bend your pinky. So then this allows you to go on either side, literally either side of the block. So that's basically the basic hotkeys. Do not hotkey your sprint to something that impairs your movement. Have F as your first hotkey. and R as your second. I feel like those are very good beginner-friendly hotkeys. C also works, R or C, but definitely F. 100% F. You cannot have anything besides F. Okay, well, technically, your personal preference, yes, but I would personally suggest the best of the best hotkeys is F. It's just such a good hotkey. But that is it, and I hope that some people could really benefit from this, and that some people could really push past that brick wall that they've been stuck on because they haven't been getting better. And I hope that this helped everyone, and everyone else, have a great rest of your day, your night, whatever time it is for you.